As we all know, yesterday was the final conclusion of Conrad Murray's sentencing for the death of Michael Jackson. Yesterday on In Session, Judge Pastor in a California court of law sentenced Conrad Murray to 4 years in prison for the involuntary death of Michael Jackson. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things because I know that my time is limited, as I always say, because time is short. But I'm going to get to the gist of it. As we all know that Conrad Murray didn't testify on his behalf of sentencing. Um, his lawyer Chernoff and his other lawyer Flanagan and his other partner, I forgot his name, have all pleaded their case, and they told that he's a good doctor. He did his best to save Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson's a junkie, blah blah blah. And Judge Pastor was interesting because during the course of this trial, he was a very animate judge and very, outspoken about certain issues when it came to this case. When he was sentencing Conrad Murray, I found this to be interesting. You know something? Let's be 300% real. I think that the judge was disappointed that he should have got a longer sentence. I think that the prosecution was disappointed. Because to tell you the truth, Conrad Murray really won this case, if you want to be honest. I know a lot of people will say, well, how did he win this case if he got 4 years in jail? Let me break this down to you. In a California law, they have this new law in California where if a person is not a violent offender, then he can't be sent to state prison. He can only be sent to county jail. And what happens in county jail is that the judge, even though the judge sentenced him 4 years, it's not up to the judge to make that final call when he is released. It's up to the sheriff's department in county. So basically what that means is even though he gave him 4 years, he could be released in county jail in 1 year. He could be released to the max. And the thing is, and you want to be honest, Conrad Murray really did win this case. It's almost like a Casey Anthony scenario. And the funny part about this whole thing is that you listen to Judge Pastor, he's out there saying, you know what, you need to serve, you're going to serve 4 years because you're not apologetic. Because what really fucked Conrad Murray up is the idea that you did these documentaries 9 days before your sentencing, and that's what the judge and the world is looking at. Like, I didn't know what Conrad Murray was thinking. I don't know if he did it for the money or if he did it because he didn't care. But Conrad, you messed up your whole probation, and the judge was watching, the world is watching, Today's Show, and about 5 other news networks played your documentaries, like one you had called The Man Who Killed Michael Jackson. And if you notice, Conrad is very angry. And the reason why he's so angry is that I think he thinks he did nothing wrong. I think he felt like it's all Michael Jackson's fault. And you know something, doing the documentaries was very stupid on his part. And as much as I believe in his innocence, and I do believe he was innocent, but yet he's angry about it, and you basically are hardhead too. When you got those hardhead types, they want to do what they want to do. I'm sure that Chernoff had a hard time with him. His lawyer Flanagan had a hard time with him. He seems like a very complicated person to work with. And also what's funny is that, he also, the judge, also said, you know what, I know that you made that famous, we all know the famous Propofol taping where Michael sounds like he's half asleep or he's on that junk. Basically, Judge Pastor's point was that you were going to use that video as blackmail. And I think he was too. I think if he didn't get the money that if the relationship between Conrad Murray and Michael Jackson didn't work out, he was going to sell that video for top dollar on whoever was going to buy it. I don't think he accidentally turned the recorder on and just sat there and wanted to listen to him sleep. I think you were going to blackmail him in case something didn't go wrong, because we all know that with blackmail, Michael Jackson pays like top dollars. So, there was a little like sneaky shit too. And something, I'll be honest with you, Conrad Murray, too angry for me. He's a very angry dude. He seems like he's sympathetic, but yet at the same time, you're angry because you want to blame Michael, and he takes no blame for himself. So I'm sitting here thinking, I'm thinking to myself, you know what, Conrad, as much as I believe in your innocence, you could have walked out of that jail yesterday morning by just telling the world I'm sorry, or leave those documentaries alone until after your probation. You were so busy trying to make that money, you didn't think to yourself, well, you know what, the judge is watching, your lawyers are watching, the prosecution's watching, the news is watching, court TV, which I know it's in session, but it'll always be court TV. They're watching, so you have the world watching you, and you're acting more crazy than ever. You're going on your documentary saying, well, Michael killed himself. I was there for Michael. Michael should have not taken propofol. I didn't know his full diagnosis. Well, if you didn't know these things, then why'd you take the case? You see, and something, there's and believe me, Conrad, and I will say this right out loud for the world to know, you beat the case. This is another Casey scenario. You basically beat the rap. You basically, hey, you will be tagged as the man who killed Michael Jackson, but they wanted to give you life in prison, and 4 years, and you be out in 1, maybe 2 the max. That's a fair deal, and you will be able to walk out of that prison. I don't know if you'll be able to practice medicine in America, but you'll go and practice in medicine in Europe or something, or Africa, or wherever you feel you need to practice medicine. But you're going to be a doctor again. Right now, you know what it is? You're very angry. And you're angry because the world, in a way, kind of sees that, you don't care. And then the impression you give off people is why people are pissed off. To tell you the truth, what happened in that room between you and Michael, I don't know. Only God and you and Michael know what happened. But I will be honest with you, Michael was surrounded by people who took advantage of him, and yet he also took advantage of people too, Michael did. Because Michael, we all know, was a junkie. And I will say it out loud. This man was basically a junkie who basically used this doctor, and the doctor was trying to use him. It seemed like everyone was trying to use people in Michael's world. But to be honest, at the end of the day, Conrad Murray, like so many other doctors who sell out their Hippocratic oath, have to understand that you cannot sell your services to people who like Anna Nicole Smith, like Elvis Presley, like Michael Jackson, like gangsters who need your services because they don't want to go to a doctor and get prescriptions. They want to spend large sums of cash, put it in your pocket, and then give you the prescriptions, and then find out that you can't handle your drugs. I mean, something? Conrad Murray will be used as a poster child for people who sell out their Hippocratic oath. But at the end of the day, it is true that, there's no real winners in all this. I only say that Conrad Murray won because he did win. He's not going to serve life in prison. He's not going to do 4 years in jail. He will walk out of that prison in 365 days. He'll walk out of that prison, and the world will remember him as the man who basically killed the most iconic figure in music of our time. The most powerful man on earth has gone. And we will remember him through his music, through Beat It, through Heal the World, through Thriller, through any of his most iconic songs. But the fact of the matter is that we now understand that prescription drugs is a problem. We also understand that, excuse me, sorry about the camera. We also know that prescription drugs is a problem. We know that prison population is a problem because even though Conrad Murray is not going to do state prison time, where I know a lot of people feel he should be, but something, they're trying to change that law, and the only reason why this law has been implemented is because the problem is that we cannot put all these prisoners in a cell that, it's too expensive to keep in there. I mean, why are you putting someone who has a parking ticket up in jail with lifers who basically are doing real time? If the person did a crime that's not as violent, then they don't need to be in state prison. You're just wasting money and you're wasting time. So, I just like to know what your opinion is on all this, because you know something. There are various opinions that you can look at. You can look at Conrad's situation. You can look at Michael's situation. You can look at the prison problem. You can look at this new law that basically Conrad Murray got over. But for the most part, I just like to know what you thought about yesterday's sentencing. Because to tell you the truth, I honestly believe that this was a complete waste of time. I felt like, you know what, Conrad Murray basically won the case. You know, he might have got 4 years, but he would be out in one. So you know what? That's about as fair of a deal as he gonna get. So tell me what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. You know, for the most part, this is just another celebrity case that we all know that, you know, another person beat the rap. So, you know something, Michael Jackson, as much as we love you, you know, I just hope that, you know, you're finally rest in peace, because there was a person who died here. Conrad Murray, I hope you make the right decisions after your 2 years in prison. And more importantly, I just hope that people make the right decisions when getting these doctors who sell out, because to tell you the truth, they don't seem to care about your health. They seem to care more about the money you put in their pocket. So remember, use your mind. It's your best weapon. You all take care of yourself, and remember, you know, enjoy the holiday season as it comes up.